Despite San Francisco investing millions of dollars to help victims of crimes, domestic violence survivors in the city, they're still struggling to get legal representation. ABC 7 News reporter Luz Pena spoke to a survivor who spent months seeking help.
For this survivor of domestic violence, leaving her abusive relationship and reporting it to police was just the beginning of her journey.
That pamphlet that the police had given me, I went down the line and I front, back, and I remember calling a hotline. And I hung up after 30 minutes because no one answered.
After 6 months searching for help, this survivor, who did not want to be identified, said she finally obtained legal counsel to fight her abuser.
There were groups that just were really overwhelmed.
In 2022, San Francisco voters approved Proposition D to create the Office of Victim and Witness Rights, focused on providing services for victims, including domestic violence survivors. 2 years later, the office just opened.
The other promise of this ballot measure was that DV survivors would have a legal right to counsel. So if they needed legal help, they could get it, that there would be a guarantee.
Is that guaranteed right now?
Right now, it's not guaranteed.
Ivy Lee is the director of the Office of Victim and Witness Rights. She said they're beginning to gear up, but have noticed there's a huge financial gap to provide legal counsel to every survivor.
Over 13,000 calls for assistance from DV victims are fielded by legal service organizations and law enforcement every year.
The nonprofit Open Door Legal says many domestic violence survivors are having to stay in abusive relationships because there is not enough funding to do what the proposition promised.
It would be about $2 million to do a pilot program to have citywide legal representation for domestic violence survivors.
In San Francisco, Luz Pena, ABC 7 News.